Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are. Today we are going to be doing a makeup look with makeup that my husband has picked out for me. I just had him go through my collection. I showed him, pick one of these, pick one of these, pick one of these. But other than that, he kind of had free reign to pick what he wanted. He ended up picking first, he said, use the Cherry Coke products. I have the Morphe X Cherry Coke products. I said, okay. And then he asked me if I have any candy related products, which I thought was a strange question, but I said, no, I don't have any of the chocolate bar palettes or anything. He said, no, anything like snacks. And I was like, I don't think so. So from there, he went ahead and picked some other things, but we're mainly working with the Cherry Coke palette today. He did throw in a couple of curveballs for me, like a weird color eyeliner to go with that intentionally. He kind of was like, oh, is that all reds and oranges and purpley? And he did not pick an eyeliner that goes with that. So we'll make it work. I love a colorful look. And I feel like I've been going more neutral lately in some of the videos I've been doing with my Project Pan video and my haul video. I feel like I've been doing a little more of a neutral look. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with something a little bit brighter, a little bit poppier today. So let's go ahead and get started with what my husband thinks will be a great look altogether. The first thing he picked was the MAC Fix Plus Pink Light. And I did just shake this really well. It has like iridescence that kind of settles to the bottom. And you shake it through. I don't feel like this really makes my face glittery or anything like that. Go ahead and start with this one. I will say the mist on this is very aggressive. I've never used the original Fix Plus, so I'm curious if that's the same, but I feel like this really gives you a mist. I don't feel like it leaves glitter particles or anything on my face though. So I like to use it before I start. And then if I need it, if I feel like I'm looking a little dry, a little powdery at the end, then I'll go ahead and use it then too. I didn't actually have him pick out an eyeshadow primer because I use, just a standard eyeshadow primer. I actually picked up the MAC Paint Pot and Painterly recently. I've only used this once so far, but I'm going to go ahead and use this today. I know a lot of the time I talk about my Believe Beauty primer, which I still enjoy. And I actually have two in my Project Pan, my Lorac, and the Essence one. I may take those out. I feel like they're not working as well as they used to be. So I'm going to give those a couple more tries. And those just may be done. But we'll give this Paint Pot a little more of a go before I decide. So now for face primer, he actually picked out the Laura Geller Spackle Supercharged Primer, which is actually my favorite primer in my collection. And he does not know that. He does not know. He doesn't watch me do my makeup normally. And okay, we have that primer all spread out. We're going to go in for brows. He picked the Zoeva eyebrow pencil and the Sephora brow builder. This is actually pretty hefty, really can look really dark in my brows. So I have to be careful. Just going to fill in the brows with this. I actually have two other baskets over here that my boys picked out for me. So we'll see how that goes. I thought it would just be fun to have, just a different selection because I know what I like. I know what I am drawn to. And I continue to use those same things or use new products or to have them go through and pick out things that catch their eye. And they both picked some interesting, nice, bold, bright colors for eyeshadows, lipsticks, and things like that. So it's definitely going to be fun looks. Just like with this, I've not really touched this Cherry Coke palette, and now I have a reason to. We're going to go ahead and go over that with the Sephora Brow Builder. See, it's kind of a darker brown, and it's really liquidy. There's a lot of product on this. You can see it getting on my skin. Then we'll just take a finger and wipe that off. It is pretty liquidy until it dries, so it doesn't really stain your skin or anything. On to foundation. He picked out the Lancome foundation here. I think he picked it up because in the drawer it sets like this. Like you can just see the top, and it's cute. This may be a little dark on me right now. If it is, I'll add in some of my LA Girl mixer, my white mixin'. I'm not trying to sabotage it, make it look bad on purpose. Oh, there's that smell. I don't know why high-end products tend to do that. I was talking about scented products the other day, but not scented like perfume, but scented like Physicians Formula scents their products. Oh, that's looking nice. Okay. I feel like either way, we don't need scent in these products. Our face doesn't need to smell good. That is honestly something that has stopped me from trying Huda Beauty, is everybody's saying that it smells like perfume in your face. And not just the setting spray, but like all of our products. That looks really nice. Good job, babe. I haven't used that foundation in a while. Forgot that I like it. You know, because the smell puts me off, so I tend to not reach for it. The foundation is looking really good. Good choice. And we'll move on to some concealer. For concealer, he has chosen the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate in C6. Again, not something I use a lot. So I've been excited to film this and the ones that my boys did. It's just, you know, a different collection of products, things paired together that maybe I wouldn't normally use together. So, or at all with some of these products. I'm actually going to add a little in between the brows. I don't always, but I've been picking at my forehead and it looks like it. So we're going to do that. While that is setting for just a second, the setting powder he chose is actually the Stay Matte from Rimmel. I used to love this. This is one of my favorite products. Like, I've actually used up probably 3 of these, like when I was in my 20s, so a long time ago, but I actually used these up. Like, this was my favorite. Anytime I had one of these though, I always used it so much I had to like wrap the hair tie around it to hold it together because the plastic would just break off in chunks. He chose this. I think we'll use this for the under eye and the entire face. I don't think we're going to need 2 powders today, so an old school favorite. And Rimmel Stay Matte is still one of the cheapest powders you can find at the drugstore. My neighbor's dog must not be out today. Thank you to anyone who actually watched that video all the way through. The dog barking, oh my goodness. Like, I could hear him outside, but I didn't realize how much this camera picks up. It's very clearly barking the entire time. Wow, this looks really nice together. It's all sitting really well on my nose. It's a more brightening shade. I have C5 and C6. And C6 is definitely a lighter, brighter shade, but I like it. Okay. So let's go into our Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is in the shade Creamy Natural. I used to use the translucent shade all the time. I really don't think there's a difference. Like the translucent and like the Creamy Natural, like this is picking up on a brush. Like it's not a really thick powder. Emily Noel talks about it a lot. It's just, it's a non-powdery powder. Like you can't get too much. And she's right, like you can't. And it doesn't like fall everywhere. There's no powdery kick up. I think that's why I've gone through so many of these though, is because I go in like that and I just go for it. Oop, ran that through my eyebrow. To go back through that. I always set down the neck a little bit anywhere I put foundation. That set that very nicely. Okay. Okay. I will say this powder tends to get like hard pan, if you can see this, pretty quickly, but I've always had that happen with this powder. You can just scrape it off or use tape or something like that and you're good to go. Don't worry about it. Alrighty, continuing on with the face. He picked the Shade and Light palette from KVD. He picked this because it's matte black and it just, I knew he was going to pick this out of the options of contours that I gave him. I knew he would love this. So this is the one we're using. This is a very powdery product, so be cautious. I got this recently at TJ Maxx. It's really pigmented though, so. This MAC paint pot is setting. It's interesting the way that it like sets. It almost like separates, but it almost looks like it's drying down, so I don't know. Ooh, very pigmented, but very blendable. Do a little on the chin. I'm going to pick up a smaller brush and contour my nose just a little bit. And then go over the top of that with that same contour brush, like the bigger one we were using, to kind of blend it. Don't want it to look too stark. Looks nice. Okay, okay, so far so good. For blush, then we have the Cherry Coke blush, and this is cherryfied. I've not actually put this on my cheeks yet. It smells a little bit like Cherry Coke. Like, I don't think I would guess that if I didn't know it was Cherry Coke. Almost just smells like, I don't know, like cinnamony or something like that. But anyway, this does smell like Cherry Coke. It is a very bold blush color, and I've not actually had the guts to use it yet. So today is the day. Let's do this. Let's pick some up on this brush. Okay, pretty pigmented. It's actually more pink than I was envisioning. I can't decide if it's powder or cream. Okay, it's definitely like powdery. It kind of looks like it's going to be the texture of like a ColourPop. I do feel like it's more of like a powder. And that does usually affect the way I apply it. That's kind of what I was checking. If it's more creamy, I'm just going to pat it in. But if it's a powder, I'm going to give it a little more of a blend. That is much pinkier. I was really expecting like a really berry color. It's very summery, very springy. As I'm filming this, it is the first day of spring, so I'm definitely going to be doing some really fun, bright spring looks coming up, so I'm excited. That is very pretty. I did expect this to be a little bit harder to work with because of like the deep shade that's in here, but wow, very, very much a cherry kind of color. Okay. That sunburnt look, that's very nice. Cherry Coke blush, I really like that. Onto highlighter, the Too Faced Heart blush, the Love Light Blinded by the Light, and he picked this because it is a heart. It was the first thing in the little line. He said the heart highlighter. Ooh, so pretty. So there's that. Good choice. As I was moving my little basket around here, I realized I forgot bronzer. He picked the MAC. This is actually a powder blush duo, but I use this as a bronzer. It's this. It's called the Bronze Medalist Goldilocks Powder Blush Duo. I tried it as a contour and as a blush. It doesn't work for either. I like it as a bronzer. And he picked this one because it is also matte black packaging. That's his favorite color. The absence of color. Okay. And he also loves camo, so I got rocking my gray camo shirt today. Can't believe I forgot my bronzer. I was just so excited about the blush. Completely forgot what I was doing. See, I like this as a bronzer because it's kind of a cool toned, almost blushy color, but I don't like it on my face as a blush. I feel like it looks too bronzy. All right, I'm actually going to put a little bit right here. I feel like my blush kind of cut off right there. So let's blend all that back in. So there is the bronzer. Very, very cute. I like this. I do. I'm happy with it. Do I want to do eyes or lips first? I think we'll go ahead and put on a lip since we're here. We have a lip liner, a lip gloss, and a lipstick. For our lip liner, we have the e.l.f. Retro Paradise in Nude 01. We have the Revlon matte lipstick in Obsessed. That's what that looks like. And this will be really nice with that lip gloss. This will be really nice with that palette, I feel like. And he literally just grabbed this also because it is matte black packaging. So luckily for me, all of those things are going together. Lucked out on that. And the Coke, Cherry Coke lip gloss that came with the blush. That came with the blush in a set, so those are both being used. All right, so let's line the lips. I feel like that is exactly my lip tone, like maybe a little bit lighter. Okay, now we're going to go into the Revlon lipstick in Obsessed. Revlon lipsticks are some of my absolute favorites. I feel like for $5 at the drugstore, you can't beat it. I love the shine ones, the cream ones, the matte ones. They're all awesome. So if you see a color in the Revlon lipstick line that you like and you are wanting, or you're wanting a new lipstick and you don't know where to start, they are so inexpensive, but you know, they're really good. I have a lot of them and they all still have really nice packaging. None of them are falling out. They don't feel cheap. And they really are only a couple dollars more than the e.l.f. ones. And the e.l.f. ones just don't have that same vibe. You know, they're in that clear packaging. I've heard people say theirs are coming loose. I feel like these are just really good lipstick. Okay, I'm gonna dab a little bit of this off with my finger. I just find if I put too much lipstick and then too much lip gloss, it's just really, it just slips and slides all over the place. So, and we're gonna go with our Cherry Coke lip gloss. This really smells like Cherry Coke. Actually, you know what this smells like? Is the Dr. Pepper. This smells like the Dr. Pepper lip smackers. There's that. Our little drugstore combo here. e.l.f., Revlon, and our Morphe Cherry Coke. That looks really pretty. That's a nice, just nude. Not much going on the lips, so that these cheeks and eyes will hopefully stand out. For the eyes, we're going into our Cherry Coke palette. I'm very excited for this. So there's the color story we're working with. I'm trying not to talk behind the palette. I realized I was doing that in some other videos and you can't hear me at all. So here's the palette. All right, I think I'm gonna use some of these reds and like these purples. I think I'm gonna focus more on like this side. I want more of like a dark vampy eye going on today. I think first thing, I'm just gonna start, there's a paper with names on them, but I don't think it really matters. I'm gonna start with this like dark red shade. I'm gonna take that dark red in the outer corner. I've said before, if you really want your color to pop, put it on first, like the darker shades. And then you can always blend them out with a lighter shade. I don't feel like I'm going to take too long with the mattes here. I have some shimmers that I'm like, yes, we got to get into. So let's quickly move along through these mattes. Okay, blended better on the other eye. Very pretty. I think I'll go ahead and just use the same brush. And you know, actually, there's this peachier shade in here off to this side. I think I'm going to dip into that for the inner part. And I might go over it with that red, but I'll put some of this on there. Still got a little oomph because we're using that same brush, but it's kind of what I was hoping for. Ugh, the texture between the middle of my forehead right now is driving me crazy. Yeah, well. I'm gonna go back into the first red we started with. This reddy pink color. Magenta, if you will. It actually looks like a, what do they call it? Like a red violet crayon. I never knew what to use that color for, because it was just too pink to be red. These are blending really nicely. I don't use a lot of Morphe shadows. It's maybe my only. We have a couple palettes from them, I'm not sure. Usually they're a little bit boring. Their palettes are, but this one was just so cute. Okay, I'm really enjoying that. That looks nice. It looks really well blended. On a smaller kind of pencil brush here, I'm gonna go into this really deep plummy shade here. In the outer corner. Ooh, that's pigmented. I like that. It's going back and forth, building up to my desired opacity. It actually looks kind of purple. Like when you swatch this out, it looks a little purple in the pan, but it looks more like brown in a swatch. On top of this red, or the red violet shade. It looks really pretty. Oh my gosh. I love this. Okay, I'm gonna go back into that red under the eye. I'm just gonna go part of the way across. I'm gonna save the center part for some shimmer. If I have a lot of like red around my eye, I feel like it just looks really tired. So we're gonna go about halfway and stop. Take a little more of that like burgundy, the dark purpley brown. That turned out really nicely. Okay, now for the lid, I have quite a few choices here. I feel like the two I'm leaning towards are these two reds. That one and that one. Kind of all over the lid. I would normally go for a lighter shade, kind of like this. And I still might kind of tap that over the top, but I kind of just want to commit and go full like Valentine's Day here. Let's see, there are those two swatched. That one is like truly a red. That looks like the same color as the blush. Okay, in swatches, they look very, very similar. Okay. Okay, I think with these, I'm going to take, I don't know, just so many choices. Okay. I'm gonna take the brighter of the two, the more like red. So I don't always wear this color. This looks different than I normally would choose. It is more of like an orangey red. And this is without any glitter glue. And I have still recently seen some of these products at TJ Maxx, so if you see it and you like this vibe, like this color story, here you go. Wow, that looks really cute. This looks very summery. I am glad he picked this because every time I've picked it up to use it, I see this as a very neutral kind of color story. So I don't always gravitate towards it if I'm trying to do something more fun, if I'm trying to do something a little bit more bright. And wow, like it can go there. It can go there for sure. I'm going to take a little more of that like red we started with on the matte red and just kind of go on the outer corner just to kind of blend everything. Make sure we're feeling nice and opaque in the outer corner. I'm actually going to take a little bit of that peach, like that light peachy shade over here, and just kind of go over the top of everything. Just, I don't know if you can tell the difference. Like this eye we've blended out a little bit and this eye we haven't. I feel like just that one little step can make a difference. Not all the time. Sometimes it's like, okay, that made it worse. But I feel like sometimes it just diffuses everything enough. And I don't mind if it goes like almost to my eyebrow. I'm sure there are some people who are like, yikes, you've gone too far. But I have all that space, so I'm going to use it because when I open my eyes, there's not a lot visible, but like the bottom of my lid and the part underneath my brow. So I'm going to put it all over the place. I'm going to take a little bit of that peach as well underneath, just for continuity's sake. Okay. Now I think for the inner corner part here, I am going to put down a glitter glue. I don't know that the shade is flaky, but it looks flaky. The shade right here, I'm going to put that on the inner corner and then down a little bit. So I am going to put down a little bit of glitter glue. Like I said, I didn't have them pick out primers or glitter glues because I only have one. It's just the one I always use. So grab just a touch of that. Now normally I would grab my highlighter palettes to do this, but he did not choose that. So let's It's either this or my actual highlighter. I might go in with that too. All right, we're gonna take that really pretty, I don't know, this one just looks chunkier than the others. Oh, but that's pretty. Ooh. It's actually more red than I was expecting. And there's nothing else on this brush, but same thing on this side. And I think I will grab my highlighter and go over the top of this, because this does have a lot more like pigment to it than I thought. It's very like purpley. I'm gonna pull just a little bit of that up toward the crease. Just kind of want it to disappear into nothing there. So we'll put this palette down for the moment. We may need it again, I don't know. I'm gonna grab back out that Too Faced highlighter and the same brush. I'm gonna make sure I wipe it off a little bit though. I don't want to get anything red in my highlighter. And I'm just gonna go over the top of what we've already done to the inner corner. Okay. All right. For eyeliner, I have the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner. For black eyeliner, I didn't have a lot of choices, so this was it. Not the dog. Okay, my neighbor dog was at it again, so hopefully he is done for the moment. We'll try to move the rest of the way through this before he gets back out there. Okay, the curveball my husband threw to me was he picked out this palette knowing what it looked like, and then he picked out a green eyeliner. So I'm just going to do what I normally would do with a colored eyeliner. I'm going to put it on my waterline. I think this will be really pretty with what turned out to be more like a purple and orange. I don't mind some color. But again, it's little stuff like this. I wouldn't have used this with that. I would have gone for like a purple or my neon orange one, or maybe a pink. Ooh, that looks so cute. Look how nicely that turned out. Very good. Okay. That looks really pretty. I know I love this eyeliner, but with this looks really pretty. And I am really impressed with this palette. Honestly, for being Morphe, I wasn't expecting like great pigment or great, like I bought this because it says cherry coke and it's adorable. And I wanted to use it. I planned on using it, but it actually really surprised me and turned out like much better than I was expecting. Okay, now that I've gone with the green underneath, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a little bit more of that matte red underneath. I was worried that like looking at this palette and then him giving me a green eyeliner, that I was worried that whatever I came out with was going to look Christmassy. I was kind of concerned about that because this wasn't in the mood for that, but this actually turned out really cool. The shimmer here isn't really terribly shimmery. It's not really glittery. It almost is reading like a satin or like a satin matte. I think that looks really cool. So I have everything else done. I think I'm going to put on a little bit more blush, put on some mascara, and we will be back with the finished look. So here is the finished look with the mascara. He had picked the Wet n Wild Big Papa and the Maybelline Lash Sensational. This, again, was an all-time favorite, and I don't think he knew that, but this is an all-time favorite of mine. I love this. This one, I've not used a ton, and I realize this is one of the strangest mascaras. Like, you pull this wand out, and there's a ton of product on here. But when you actually go to apply it, it's very thin, like a very thin application, and it's a really spiky brush. It's like a natural bristle, but it feels like one of those plastic ones. So that was a very strange experience. I've only used this a handful of times, and That's the best way I can describe it, is that it pokes you like a rubber bristle brush, and doesn't apply a lot of product. I think he did a really good job of picking out a combination of some things I really, really like, some things I've really never used, and I feel like this turned out really, really pretty. I feel really good in this. I think my skin looks really nice. The eyeshadow palette was probably the biggest surprise to me. I've swatched it. I've never actually applied this to my eyes because I've never been inspired by it. Like, I like the packaging, but the inside is always just meh. But I'm loving what I came up with, like the more orange and almost into purple. Like, I feel like this looks like orangey purple, a little hint of the green eyeliner. I'm really, really enjoying the way that this looks. So thank you, babe, for picking this out for me and participating in my video. And I appreciate the support. And I think now we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.